Hi, and welcome to Conversations with Chris. These casual conversations invite members of the Madonna community, from faculty and staff, students, alumni, and donors, to participate in conversations about all the wonderful things at Madonna University. Welcome to the Alliance Catholic Credit Union Arena, and our guests today, two Madonna alumni, Jim Woodworth, also a Madonna trustee, and Noel Emenhiser, our athletic director and men's head basketball coach. Both of them former scholar athletes at Madonna, and we're delighted to join them today in the arena. And we'll start with you, Jim. Tell us about your experience as a student athlete here at Madonna, why you chose Madonna, and some of the aspects of that experience that were special to you.
Yeah, despite you reminding me that I was a scholar athlete, I was never a great student. So college for me wasn't something I really was excited to do. So men's basketball, Coach Bernie Holowicki recruited me here, and that's really what led me here.
Great. How about you, Noel?
Yeah, similar. Built a relationship with Coach Holowicki through some mutual friends near my hometown in Indiana, and I felt like this was a great place for me to study, learn, and continue my passion of the game of basketball. But it was that relationship with Coach Holowicki that ultimately led me to choose Madonna.
Great. Now, our audience should know that you played together, and just tell us a little bit about how you met as teammates and what that experience was like.
Yeah, so Coach Holowicki kind of set us up as roommates, and I didn't know Noel. He didn't know me, so we kind of went in blind. But had it not been for basketball and doing that, Noel and I were, I wouldn't say we were peas in a pod. It was, our journeys to get here were way different. He was a young 17-year-old freshman, and I was a incoming 21-year-old sophomore. So I had, my paths kind of led me different ways before I got here. So I was much older. He was much wiser and much more mature. But that's kind of how it all happened, to where we got to know each other and ended up rooming together for 3 years.
Yeah, Jim's family had purchased a home and allowed us to rent it during our time. So the opportunity to live together was not just a great experience in terms of the relationship that we built, but it was also a great opportunity to save some money in our housing, and to become kind of a place where our basketball team got very close and built a lot of great relationships together.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the Madonna University basketball program at that time, and just some of your reflections on the basketball program as you see it today.
It's, significantly different. And that's a credit to Noel, because when we got here, there was never a winning season. My junior year, Noel's sophomore year, we were at that time the most successful team in basketball history, with a record of 14-16. So the basketball program, and there was not a lot of connectivity. There was, people had graduated or not graduated. They'd be here for 1 or 2 years, and then they would depart. And compared to now, where Noel's done a really good job of making sure everyone that plays here stays here. We're all connected, and that goes from our teammates to even the team now. There's a link to what he's doing, which is really, really cool.
That's great. That's great. Your perspectives.
Yeah. Coach Holowicki had been a longtime high school coach in the area at Detroit Catholic Central and had incredible success. And he was twilighting here at Madonna, trying to build a program kind of from scratch against some very established programs in the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference and in the NAI that had a lot of success. So starting anything from scratch, and at Madonna, creativity was always the necessity in terms of funding and coaching support. So doing it as a part-time coach, without a lot of infrastructure, it was a struggle. And he was constantly working to identify some people that could maybe help elevate the program. So he did an admirable job, but at the same time, we hadn't really taken a hold in terms of a lot of outward success. But certainly, the program as I remember it, we didn't reflect on a lot of big wins or great seasons, but the relationships were incredible. The best friends that I have in the world today were a result of that time that we spent together. I considered Coach Holowicki like a second father. Jim, one of the best friends that I have in the world today, all a result of that opportunity and decision to come to Madonna.
Yeah, that's terrific. That's terrific. Thinking about your experiences as students, we talk about relationships at Madonna all the time. You talk about the coaching relationship. How about your relationships with some of the folks on the academic side, faculty, staff who worked with you when you were students here?
Yeah, I'll just share one story about Dr. Benedict, who was in the education department. And it was after my first day in that class, the first assignment I turned in, he called me after class and just said, "Was that your best work?" And it just really hit home with me because it wasn't my best work, but he had this unique way of connecting with students. And from that time on, he got my best work every single assignment. And it was just really cool. And then from that point on, like we kept in touch and he wrote letters of recommendation for me. And it's just, I think part of being at Madonna, you have those unique experiences where you're not lost. The professors really can connect with you and appreciate you and really guide you to reaching your full potential, which was really cool.
That's such a great message. Yeah, thanks. How about you, Noel?
Yeah, I just think of the significant number of professors and relationships around campus that made me feel important, that helped me to see potential in myself that maybe I didn't even see in myself at the time, and then called me to it. I think of the History 1010 class with Roger Crownover, or my Province Stats class with Sister Kathleen. The number, journalism with Dr. Neil Haldane, the number of different relationships, and while I don't remember the content as much as the spirit of the class, the motivation and inspiration from the professors, but then extending that into Sister Nancy, who was a vice president at the time, Sister Rose, our athletic director, Brian Rizzo, Matt Fansett, Patrick Moore, some of these relationships that were developed that help people to see what they were capable of and then have accountability to it. When I think of those number of relationships, I think of just being a really transformational time in my life based on those number of people that took an interest in me.
Yeah, that's great. And a great reminder too, just of everything about the Felician mission, the Felician sisters, and how we carry that work forward. So I have to imagine, outside the classroom, you have a couple of stories that might be memorable for you. Do any of them come to mind in terms of your experience here together at Madonna?
When I say Noel was the mature one, like I really mean it. Like it was, like a lot of my stories with Noel are probably inappropriate for this, to be quite honest with you. But we did have a very unique experience at one of the scrimmages where there was some physicality, let's say. And it ended up in an all-out brawl. I mean, people were running out of the stands, just throwing punches, and Noel, in one of his first experiences as a Madonna basketball player, ended up at the hospital here across the way with getting stitches in his lip, and it was absolutely insane. It was unlike anything I've ever been a part of, but that was just probably the most crazy and unique story I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was our first college scrimmage together. It was my introduction to college basketball, and it resulted in a mumbled phone call home saying that I was in the hospital. But yeah, I mean, as we look back on it, it's hilarious. And,
we threw no punches. The folks at Madonna threw no punches. I just want to let you know that. But it was just a wild scene.
Yeah, the police came. Yeah, pretty interesting. But it kicked off an incredible, I mean, what a way to bind people together, too, through an experience like that. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you came back for the next game. So, actually, Noel, you had some experience playing in Europe after you graduated from Madonna. You want to share some of that experience with us as well?
Yeah, probably consider it like a cup of coffee. Had the opportunity to go and play on a team in Portugal for a year, and it was a wonderful cultural experience and basketball experience. I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I wasn't going to be a professional basketball player for a career, and that coming home was going to be in my best interests. And so all of that experience and opportunity led me back here to Madonna, where eventually I could take a role coaching. So I learned a lot. It was great, and I'm grateful that so many others from Madonna in our program have now had that opportunity to go and experience similar things, many for much longer. We've had players playing in Taiwan now for 17 years. Doug Creighton has had a 17-year career in Taiwan. Others, had opportunities and done really well with it. So I'm just proud that our program has afforded opportunities like that for so many.
Yeah, terrific. And Jim, now in your role as a trustee, your perspectives on that, having graduated from Madonna and still participating in the work that we do?
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. For me, it's more about just being connected to the university. And staying connected to still people that are here from when I was here that have meant so much to me over the years. It obviously helps with Noel, a great friend of mine, still being the men's basketball coach. So there's always that level of connectivity, but just a way that I can give back to the university where this is my happy place. I love coming back to campus. I was here most of the day yesterday, and I just woke up this morning with this just great sense of peace of mind and gratitude for still being able to be part of it.
Yeah. Thanks to both of you for your time. I think we have more to cover in Conversations with Chris, with Jim Woodworth and Noel Emenhiser, and so I look forward to continuing the conversation with each of them individually in our next episodes. Peace and all good.